Happy Friday, Wrestling Inc. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It is me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Friday to talk the news of the end of the week. It is our good friend, Christy Olson. Christy, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Nick. Thank you so much. Happy freaking Friday, long weekend, woo-woo.
Yeah, happy freaking Friday, everybody. Yeah, this is a freaking fun Friday we're having up in here. We're going to be live, of course, for the next 30, 45 minutes. So jump on in, jump into the chat room, say hello. Let us know what you're up to here on this fun Friday. Do some likes, do them heart eyes things, whatever it may be. Share out the link. Let people know. I'm watching live. I'm engaging Nick and Christy. We're having a party over here. That always helps as well.
Engage us.
Yes, engage us, people. Let's have some fun. It's a fun freaking Friday. We got a lot of news to get to here in the past 24 hours. And then later on, if you listen in audio form, you're going to hear an interview right after that news block here. If you're watching us in video form, we're less than an hour away now, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to debut my conversation of the day. Today is a big one. We got AEW Double or Nothing on Sunday. Today we got AEW's Anthony Ogogo in the house, who is going to be taking on Cody Rhodes in like a bit of a culture clash match, I guess I could say, between these two. I'm very excited. Great conversation.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And we haven't gotten to know him very well yet, so I'm really excited to hear your interview with him.
I was blown away. I mean, what a great guy, just a good talker. I mean, he spends the first 10 minutes just blasting the American healthcare system, and then we really
That's
get
my
going.
vibe.
Oh, it's my vibe. I keep saying it. I know I'm giving away the opener, but I'm like, first question. How are you? Are you the bad guy? Like, what's going on here? Are you the bad guy? Is Cody the good guy?
Did you come to save us from healthcare?
Please help us. So Anthony Ogogo in the house here later today. He'll be over on the YouTube channel as well. Also, of course, I'll be in Jacksonville this Sunday for Double or Nothing. I'll be out in the audience, live tweeting for Wrestling Inc., and then I'll be backstage in the scrums asking questions of the performers. So keep an eye out, guys. It's going to be a big weekend. My first chance to go back out in the field and cover wrestling again in about a year and a half, obviously.
Yes, Nick, I'm so excited for you and just for everyone to be there and gather and to get interviews that are in person once again. You know, when these events used to go down, we used to get all these great tidbits from everybody who was there. And man, I'm excited for you. I'm going to be watching you, Nick. You better be social mediating while you're there.
I will be. I'll be doing a lot of social mediating and trying to ask the hard questions, people.
Oh, right.
You know, I was on the Cody media call yesterday, and I got him to, I talked about the Ogogo stuff. I was like, hey, can we talk about how some people don't like the politics of what you guys are talking about right now? And he told me, you want to make it clear he wasn't trying to mansplain racism to people.
That's where that came from. Okay, I saw that headline and it was very interesting. I didn't take his promo as that way, but once he kind of gave that explanation from the prompting of your good question, Nick, I kind of thought, oh yeah, it's a good thing that he was offered the opportunity to clarify.
Man, Cody was a little bit on the defense yesterday. It was a different kind of media call for him. People asked, "Oh, are the EVPs? Are you guys really not talking to each other?" I mean, it was some grilling going on the call yesterday. So anyway, you can go find that audio. That's on yesterday's show. Anthony Ogogo will be here today. We'll dive into the mailbag at the end. We're going to look at what potential WWE New Japan dream matches most interest you, which will bring us right into news you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. The Wrestling Observer reporting WWE and New Japan are having talks about possibly working together in a relationship. Nick Khan has been in talks with New Japan officials about WWE possibly becoming the official American partner for the Japanese organization. New Japan is currently working with AEW and Impact and has had a working relationship with Ring of Honor and CMLL. The talks date back to late March, early April. There would be several factors at play regarding a potential deal, but no indication that the talks have advanced. The deal would, however, include WWE sending wrestlers, including top stars, over to work in New Japan. Whiplash this morning. I was getting DMs and texts from everybody about this. What are your thoughts on this one, Christy?
Well, what were the texts and DMs? Are people excited about it? Do they think it's not going to happen? What's the general consensus?
A lot of people just surprised and like kind of excited. Like you don't really know what to make of it. I think it's a brilliant move if WWE can do it, just because you look at how New Japan has bolstered so many North American promotions. If you take that away from all of them, you take away their fun toy that seems to make them cool. I think it's on a business level, it's a really smart thing WWE is trying to do.
Yeah, I think it is a smart thing that WWE is trying to do it and engaging New Japan and making them think that WWE is going to make a deal with them so that they stop effing with Ring of Honor and AEW and all those other promotions, when I don't really think that WWE thinks that they need a partnership with New Japan. I don't know what WWE would really think they could get out of it besides, oh, this is a shiny new thing that AEW is doing. Let's check into it. Man, they're not going to abide by all of our rules. Forget it. Like, I don't see this going anywhere. I'm sorry.
You don't think it happens?
No.
Oh man, I'm kind of optimistic on this one. Like my poll says Nick Khan is looking to do some things differently here right now. I mean, again, you just look at how New Japan has bolstered AEW, ROH, even Impact Wrestling now. And if you're trying to really kind of reassert yourself, that's a great way to do it. At the same time, putting to rest the, argument that WWE, unlike the other promotions, isn't willing to work with other people. I mean, and it also, I go back and I think about Daniel Bryan, and like the last things we heard Daniel Bryan say before he disappeared was that he really wanted to see what New Japan, would be like to overwork New Japan, and tease the idea of kind of, some back and forth, and said it was something he'd been working on. And this now, you take the gravitas of a Daniel Bryan, who I'm sure has a lot of respect in New Japan circles, and a business mind of a Nick Khan. I think that's a pretty damn good combo to approach New Japan to make a case to try to work something out.
Yes, but can't we essentially already assume that would be dead in the water then, because we haven't seen Daniel Bryan, and it seems like now that you're explaining that makes sense if that is what he wanted. That just makes me think even more that it's dead in the water then if Daniel Bryan was involved.
I mean, or is it coincidence that we haven't seen Daniel Bryan and we haven't seen this relationship come to fruition? Like, does one need the other? Like, if the New Japan deal does come together and Daniel can go over there and wrestle Minoru Suzuki and, bring over the Usos with him to wrestle God or what mayhaps you, that's a pretty compelling, proposition, I would think, to a guy like
for New Japan. Yeah, for New Japan and for Daniel Bryan. But what about WWE? What did they really? How are we going to convince them that they're going to get something out of it? They see themselves as the big fish.
Yeah, no, but I mean, look, dollars make sense, and like that New Japan library and bringing those New Japan events maybe to a partner of theirs like a Peacock, right? Or bringing all of those New Japan subscribers, or again, just the ability to handicap multiple of your competitors all at once by taking away one of their key partners. I mean, I see.
Bingo.
That's why I say it's like I do see advantages here for WWE to do this 100%. Yeah.
But they can stomp out those relationships without actually going through with the deal.
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. Let's see here. Let's Frankie P. WWE trying to slam the door on ROH and Impact. Does kind of feel like that. We have one from Lady Wiz. Happy Friday.
Hey, Lady Wiz.
Rob Humphrey. I'm sure WWE can't wait to send T-Bar Mason Otis to Japan. Come on now. Then we have Samantha QT. Could this be why they're thinning out to look more profitable to New Japan? I don't think those two things have anything to do with each other. I really
no, but you know what? I respect that she's just looking for an answer for all of these cuts that have been happening lately.
Yeah, and Braddock here. Does this mean Okada and Naito come to WWE? I don't know about the main roster proper. Maybe you introduce it first at NXT, but like a little New Japan invasion, that again, like God sitting there throwing popcorn, at Legado del Fantasma down in NXT. Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is always fun and it always plays.
It's always fun, and it plays to a very small group of really hardcore, really tuned in fans. We got to remember that WWE is where the pro wrestling casual fans do go, who don't know anything about New Japan.
Right. That's why I say maybe maybe NXT is the place you kind of start to introduce those kinds of characters.
Yeah.
Also from here, Randy Sam. Hey, Nick and Christy. And he also said God versus the Usos. I don't know what that is, right?
Oh, G-O-D.
G. Okay. See, I do the D capital, so I don't get confused because I'm slightly dyslexic. All right. And I got to throw it in here before we get to our next one because Polio Del Mar is in the chat room right now, my Thursday co-host.
Okay.
And Paul here saying, Nick, sent you breaking news, which was released just this morning. Fozzy has new tour dates. They're from July to October. So wait, let me see here. I'll pop over real quick. What did Paul send me? This is.
Oh, I love this. Breaking news.
I know. This is everybody's working together here. It has dates starting in July. There's 3 dates in July, 1 in August, and then pretty much every day in September, and then a bunch of them in October. So this absolutely looks like,
where are we talking? Is he coming to LA? Is this the South? Northeast?
South. I don't see any California dates. I see a lot of Florida. I see North Carolina, Chicago. Juliet's on the Juliet of Juliet, Chicago State Penitentiary. Juliet, Wisconsin, Iowa. No, it's a lot of Midwest and then in the South, but no California.
Okay. Well, that's all right. I can travel to see Fozzy. I'm just kidding. I would never do that in a million years.
Yeah, no, me either. But anyway, there you go. So it looks like from September, Chris Jericho may not be as readily available to AEW.
Oh, right. That is why that is big news. Yes, got you.
Yes. So basically, it's interesting because All In is usually not Memorial Day. Is it Memorial Day? No, we just had that
Labor. One. This weekend is Memorial Weekend. The one in September is Labor Day weekend.
Okay, so Labor Day weekend. So yeah, so I don't know when they're going to do All Out. Let me look here real quick. When is September 1st? Yeah, September 1st is traditionally All Out. I have my calendar right here. Man, I'm just all over. Okay, September 1st is a Wednesday. So Labor Day weekend, I'm guessing we either one before, but I'm guessing maybe when is Labor Day this year? I don't want to look this up. I'm spending too much time on this, but I would guess All Out would happen. I'm guessing something around All Out happens, and then Chris Jericho goes on the road.
So, yes, I think that is safe to say.
Yes. All right. Back to the run sheet. So WWE has officially announced that SummerSlam is going to be on Saturday, August 21st. This will be the first time that the biggest show of the summer airs on Saturday. SummerSlam was held on Saturday, August 29th, 92 in England. That didn't air until Monday. WWE has not named the location. It will be the location's going to be announced next Saturday, June 5th, during the 2021 Belmont Stakes pre-show or pre-race show. WWE has also announced the next 21 dates on the summer return to touring. The tour was originally announced as a 25-city schedule, but now they have 27 dates confirmed. The new announcement includes weekend events billed as super shows. I don't know. I didn't check for LA. I don't know if you saw the list of cities if they're coming back to you anytime soon.
Oh no, because I wouldn't go to that either. But I am interested in the idea that these are super shows, so I assume that is their way of telling people that they could possibly see superstars from any brand.
Right, and these are weekend shows. These are not Raw, SmackDown. So these are house shows. The way this read to me is they're going to go out there. They're going to do all these shows to just get everything up and running again, right? Like you're going to get people used to running cables again. You're hanging lights, taking down rings, production, just getting the wheels moving again. That's probably why they're doing these super shows, would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, they're smart in that way. Nobody does production better than they do. So, if they feel like they have to kind of, like they might be rusty.
Yeah, so that is that. And then SummerSlam's going to be on a Saturday in Vegas, and that sounds awesome. Like
that does sound like a lot of fun. And I've had a lot of people be like, hey, Vegas, hey, SummerSlam, oh, it's a weekend. I mean, yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that are having a lot of fun in Vegas that weekend.
I was very excited to hear this news because if they do, I guess maybe NXT would be Friday, like the takeover. I don't know if they do NXT on Sunday the night after, right?
No, it makes more sense to do it Friday.
Yeah, do it or because that's head to head with SmackDown. Then like that doesn't really seem to make sense either. Maybe do takeover like an afternoon takeover with SummerSlam at night. That seems weird.
Yeah, now ever since WrestleMania 2 nights went over so well, I feel like they want to extend everything. Like maybe it'll be 5 nights of SummerSlam action or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do the takeover on the Tuesday before, right? Like that week. the TV takeover. But Saturday night, so cool. Just get to go, attend, hang out. Then you get to go hit the strip. Then you can sleep in because it's Sunday. And then you can wake up, you party down, throw your ass on a plane at 10 o'clock at night. That's the way to do it, Christy.
Nick, you seem to have really thought this out. Are you making your travel plans?
Hell yes, I'm making my travel plans. I told Liz about it yesterday. I was like, Liz, here's the plan. Here's what we're doing. In August, she was like, okay, well, we better start saving up gambling money. I was like, all right, that is the attitude. We are going to town. We're having some fun.
And I love that there's no talk of quickie Vegas wedding there for you two.
Well, not yet. I don't know. Get a couple in me. See if that's
I'll come for that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so there you go. There's your SummerSlam news. Also, interestingly, here, as we're talking about the return to live touring, Sports Talk 790 in Houston had Paul Heyman on, and Paul Heyman commented on a possible Brock Lesnar WWE return. He said maybe he's been waiting for the live events, and maybe he'll choose Houston to make that return, or maybe not, because Brock Lesnar is going to do whatever Brock Lesnar wants to do. Now, it should be noted that Edge is also announced for the July 16th SmackDown, and John Cena is rumored. And then you toss Brock Lesnar into that mix. Everybody's coming home, Christy.
Yeah, I always am trying to get into the mind of Paul Heyman and why would he say this and what does it really mean? And I guess I've learned to just be frustrated and that he's just smarter than everyone and we're never going to figure it out.
This seemed unusually blunt by Paul's cryptic messages. Like, I don't know why you would be like, maybe Brock, maybe come wait for live events. Maybe he wants to come to Houston. That all seems very logical and reasonable. I don't know. You just pull that out of thin air.
Well, that's what I'm going with here. It's like, this is a little different than the kind of stuff that he usually says. And for him to be so specific makes me think that he doesn't know himself, right? Like if he knew that Brock was going to be there, he would be kayfabing it a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think he would have said anything if there wasn't something to it. So that's the thing. It's like by Paul Heyman, like cryptic conversation standards, this was actually very, and you know what? Braddock here with a great point. Maybe he just wants people to buy tickets to this Houston show so they have a guaranteed sellout. That's a very good point, Braddock.
Well, yeah, I mean, do we know if Paul is still on the payroll or not? We assume that he sort of is.
He's out there every week on SmackDown with Roman Reigns. I would think there's some kind of.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was just thinking about him in terms of Brock. Brock.
Yeah, no, I would think there's something. And like that's the thing is if Brock comes back on the SmackDown before that, I mean, like that's Roman's territory. And Heyman's like Roman's guy. That puts Paul Heyman in a very complicated situation, you know?
A precarious position that maybe he would be the only one who would know what to do with.
Yeah, I mean, just it's very interesting. I love just hearing all these names. They're like, oh, people are back. I sell shirts again. Yeah, maybe I'll come back. Time. Well, speaking of comebacks, Fightful reporting the working plan is for Eva Marie to not to wrestle on Raw, but to have her as a vehicle to help get another female superstar over. No word yet on who that will be. I also still believe that what's the guy Parker Bordeaux. I think that with all the viral stuff they've been doing together online, I don't put it out of the question. They don't just hotshot that kid to Raw and make her one of his.
Oh, yeah. See, I was thinking, who are the women talents that maybe they're trying to bring up from NXT or that they're trying to push on Raw? But I think you probably are hit the nail right on the head there.
Well, if it's gonna be a woman, like I'm with you, like which woman needs I'm like Mandy and Brooke, like Dana Brooke. I don't love that. You know?
Yeah, because they don't have enough attractiveness there. Let's throw in Eva Marie. That's just a waste. We gotta spread out all that hotness.
Yeah, I mean, like if the Iconics were still around, you know, and we're kind of fledgling and looking to kind of be rebooted. I mean, them with Eva, like kind of, I don't know, with like a mentor kind of that, maybe, I don't know.
Well, when she first came around, you know, there had been news that Vanessa Bourne had been brought up to the main roster, but had not been debuted yet. And I was kind of wondering if maybe the two of them would hook up. They both have kind of that same energy, that be jealous of me energy.
Sure. And Samantha QT here saying Nikki Cross, who is back and was, I mean, thrilled to have lasted 2 minutes with Rhea Ripley on Raw, which really did. That was the weirdest damn segment I've seen in a while. That thing was, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with that bit of business.
Yeah, I do too. I think maybe they just assume, those two women know each other pretty well and are very good, and maybe there wasn't enough direction or rehearsal on that one.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I still think there's something to the Eva Parker thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll take her in any way I can get her on a screen. And
you like her that much?
I do like her. I like her. I think she has that much value as a personality that we haven't seen yet.
We got
to remember, this woman was never given the opportunity to train. She was interviewed for Total Divas. She got signed for a reality show. She went to SummerSlam for a weekend and started filming and, got to train a little on the side here and there. So that's not what she's there for. That's okay. And I think that we can see big things from her in all the other stuff she does.
I like this right in here from Drew227. Zelina, she is back in the fold. We've heard down at the Performance Center. Looking to rebuild herself, reinvent herself, bring herself back. Maybe Eva as a mentor to her. Not the worst idea. I actually don't hate that idea.
No, I don't hate it, but does she need it?
No, probably not. But I mean, I don't know. At least that they would be both very talented and working together. I don't know. I think it's Parker, but this report says woman, female.
It does say woman.
Fightfuls, and I trust Fightful. So I just think Parker. So anyway, WrestleVote's reporting members of the Raw creative team have asked for Finn Balor to return for months now. However, no edict has come down from the top to pull Balor from NXT, at least as of this week. It was also said that the NXT crew adores Balor. So unless the main roster has significant plans for him, he may end up staying where he is. Balor has not been on the main roster since summer 2019. When his last match came at SummerSlam 2019, losing to the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Adored. And down in NXT. Such cute language. I don't know. Anyway.
I know. And of course he is, because he has always he's always championed NXT, right? He never forgot where he came from, that it was NXT and all that stuff, of course. And I can only imagine, seeing the little bit I did see from him behind the scenes, that he is so valuable to all the other talent there as just a mentor and as somebody to bounce things off of and who's open to doing that, I bet he loves it too. I mean, that's going to be a hard sell. Sorry, Raw Creative. You're going to have to come up with something else. You got a lot of other great people.
I could get where his mind would be like, I've done all that. I was nice. I'm glad I came here. It was like a retreat. It was like a spa, right? Like I came down, I found myself. I took off the face paint. My skin got all clear. I'm feeling good. I got new clothes. I got introduced to a massage guy down there full time. He's got that knot out. I feel great. Time to get back to work, make the big money again. I get where that impetus would come from Finn Balor.
I'm sure WWE has been very careful to make sure that his pay has not decreased in any way, shape, or form going down to NXT.
Pay good. Stress level is probably down, right? And now,
exactly.
But in 2019 was a long time ago, but it's 2021, and a year and a half of that time, we've all kind of been in this weird pandemic state here in the United States, right?
Right.
So he worked through this very tough period. Everybody was kind of working in weird situations, but those big live crowds are going to be back now, and you got to think he wants to be a part of that, And if the New Japan deal, if there's anything to that New Japan talk, Finn Balor, Mr. New Japan, is somebody that I think takes on a lot more value all of a sudden. I don't know that you can keep him on an NXT unless that's where you want to do the New Japan stuff.
Well, right. And I was just going to say, since you had brought that up and that made so much sense, that could be valuable, of course. But, Finn Balor, he's proven that he's just going to kind of do what feels good for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very clear that being at NXT feels good for him.
Yeah. It's just, he wants that more money. He wants that Okada bucks. That's what he wants. Bang, bang.
Soulja Boy money? Who was the rapper who tried to make his own money?
These are actual Okada bucks. They fell from They fell from the ceiling of Madison Square Garden.
Wow. You could probably get some money for those on eBay, Nick. Some real money.
Yeah, probably.
Some Benjamin bucks.
Nope, I like bringing them up on screen every so often. They mean too much for me. That's sweet, sweet. Okada money. All right.
Does it smell like a concrete floor?
This is getting gross. Hey, putting you over. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for putting you over. So there's your Finn Balor news. And if you were to come to the main roster, I mean, kind of put a button on this. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but is there somebody that you really would like to see Finn Balor work with, or are you kind of nonplussed and you hope he stays in NXT? Where's your head at?
No, I hope that he stays in NXT. I think he's doing very well for himself and for NXT there. And I think, like you said, we've seen him do all he can do on the main roster. They're not going to give the people that we would want to see him in a long-term story with, they're not going to give those people the TV time to go with Finn Balor. So let's keep him down there where he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
It ain't broke, Nick.
No. All right. That brings us to WrestleNomics' report. The latest updates on all of the cuts and firings that have been going on for almost a week now. The total number of, were we talking about this last week when you were on the show, or did this break after?
Yes, no, it had just, the first round had just started last week.
Man, it's been a full week of this whole cycle.
Yeah.
The total number of WWE employees cut on Tuesday now totals 60 or more. WWE officials held a video meeting with all employees on Wednesday to address the layoffs. It was reported earlier that the meeting was led by Nick Khan and Chief Financial Officer Christina Salin. And that Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon did not appear. Word now is that Stephanie McMahon and Triple H also did not speak, but Kevin Dunn did. Dunn briefly spoke at the meeting, explained that the television department, Advanced Media Group, and WWE Studios were all being consolidated under a new department called WWE Media. Dunn will oversee that department after previously leading the television department. Khan reportedly tried to give encouraging words to employees during the meeting. At one point, he became emotional while reading a story about a young woman who made a daily commute of 4 hours from work to college. The story seemed to be an example of a person with a strong work ethic who WWE employees might emulate. The date to return to the work at the headquarters is Tuesday, July 6th. Employers are not going to be required to be vaccinated before they come back to the office, but non-vaccinated employees will be required to wear masks under a, quote, honor system. I just want to say real quickly that the thing about Nick Khan telling this story about the girl in the daily commute is some, like, if true, which, you know, I believe because WrestleNomics is usually very reliable. I've been in offices like this. Like, I was an early hire at Grubhub, and I've seen those, like, really young, motivated bosses, like, do this stuff, and it's like kind of manipulative a little bit. Like, it really gets into your head, like, and it pushes.
Yeah, because it works. That's why they do it.
It's really and like the amount of people that I would see hear this stuff, fall for it, get into it, burn themselves out, right? Which is what I really fear we're about to see a whole bunch of at the headquarters, with all these people taking on so many jobs, and you got a boss now saying, back to the office, you're going to be doing twice what you did before. We're not going to pay you any more money, but the other option is you make no money. I mean, it's just it's rough. That's all I'm saying, you know?
Yeah, it's rough. And I can only imagine that they are really wondering who shared the details of this meeting. And I want to know too.
So it just sounds weird. It just sounds like a very uncomfortable space to be in. And then you're looking at your boss and he's like crying, telling you the story of this girl who walked for 4 hours every day. It's just, I don't know. I'm getting hard.
Well, he should probably remember too that he's talking to a bunch of wrestlers and people in the pro wrestling biz who probably believe nothing that's coming out of his mouth. So to just kind of agitate that by telling like some cutesy fake story, it probably just made it worse. So my guess is that went over like.
Yeah. Wow. So that's what's going on there. Sending our best to everybody involved in what happened at WWE HQ this past week.
Yes, absolutely.
Including Tom Phillips, who Mick Foley, he was the loudest voice, but multiple voices yesterday chiming in about their love of Tom Phillips, saying, I'm surprised to see that WWE let Tom Phillips go. I always enjoyed his announcing and thought his chemistry with his fellow commentators was professional, informative, and entertaining. Announcing in WWE is not easy, and he did it very well. Do you have any thoughts did you work with Tom? Did you get to know Tom?
I worked with Tom very, very closely and got to know him very, very well because initially from my hiring, it was when he was going to be taking over Cole's role of managing all the announcers. So I was kind of the first person coming in that Tom was involved in the hiring process. He was on the phone call when they called me and told me the news. And then this was a time too when he came and was at the PC a lot more, and to kind of be there as a day-to-day mentor for me. He's the one that I would go over tapes with, and who, went over my weekly reports. He is the one who was the last person I talked to and the one to escort me out on my last day. So yes, I do know Tom very, very well. And that's why I was shocked to hear this news, is because he has been being groomed for years to take over this kind of behind the scenes role for the announcers, in addition to what he was doing.
Did you have a positive working relationship with Tom when he was serving as the mentor for you down in the PC?
I had a very positive working relationship with Tom. He did make me feel like I could come to him. You don't trust anybody there, but I knew that because he was the one who told me that. You know what I mean? So I did. I felt that he was someone I could go to. I wouldn't have been nervous to be alone in a room with him, even though my coming in was right after some trouble that he had gotten himself into. Which everyone always forgets about. I think that's interesting, but I'm shouldn't wave the flag about it because, like I said, he was good to me. So I am shocked by this. Also, he's been released before. People maybe don't remember that. Way early in his career, when he was first signed on to be on screen, they put him at the announce table, and then he was released for a few months, and they ended up bringing him back and working with him a little bit and stuff. So I actually wouldn't be surprised to hear that maybe he does come back at some point.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I like a lot of people there. I've heard I've heard some negative stories from people that worked at the PC with him, but more in a commentator role, which is not really what your lane was.
Right.
And I'd heard a bunch of really positive stories too. And it's nothing that was like salaciously bad. Like there were just people that didn't like him. There are other people that really liked him. And so for me, it just kind of does wash out, where it's like, if this guy largely seems cool, largely seems capable, why you get rid of him? Like, there's got to be something else going on here. I don't know what it is. So
I don't either. And again, I wondered if the trouble that he had gotten himself into, that was almost 5 years ago now. But with new management coming in and some of the other people that have been let go over behavioral things,
right?
I guess that is a possibility. Can you have someone managing people who has used their work phone for, the kinds of things that he got himself in trouble for? Maybe not. That was a long time ago, though. And he was giving so many responsibilities and opportunities after that, that if that is the reason, that's really shady.
Yeah, and but it does feel like there's a scrubbing going on over there at the moment, right? Like they're cleaning up, trimming down. I can only imagine the mea culpa that Hunter had to make for Road Dogg in the wake of the Demi Lovato non-binary situation. I would imagine some calls were made that that got a lot of attention. Surprised by that one.
As it should.
Yeah, that was messed up. So we'll see, but I agree. I think there's a bit of a scrubbing going on here, and we'll see where Tom lands up next, dude. With the amount of like real love.
Experience.
I mean, I don't know if Ring of Honor's got Ian Riccaboni locked down. He's their guy. I don't think Ian should have to worry at all. AEW, they got Excalibur in a very similar role. Jim Ross also kind of doing play-by-play. That leaves. He could go to Impact. They've kind of had a lot of turnover in commentary.
Mm-hmm.
A New Japan American broadcaster. I don't know.
I don't believe that we'll see him commentate for pro wrestling again. I think that he'll move into another sport. He's a sports guy, loves all kind of sports, and he was never a wrestler. A lot of the other guys, Byron and Corey, and most of the other announcers have been wrestlers at some point. So it's not like that's something that he brings to the table as a commentator. So I could certainly see him going to, football or baseball or, something of that nature. I think he would fit in very well.
We'll talk about these firings. One last round of comments here before we get to the next item. Samantha, is this a new episode of Swerve? You're not going to fire you. Got ya. Yeah, and then Xavier Woods comes out and he shoots a big thing of flour in your face. That's hilarious.
Yes, so funny.
Rob Humphreys, nothing like being called into a meeting so your boss can tell you a story. Dude, I read that. And I was just like, I'm there. I'm listening. I'm like, your boss is like, you got to think about the sacrifices that these other people make and push yourself. Then he walks out of the room and he lights up a cigar and he goes, takes his pants off in his office and then shoots off in his Lamborghini at the end of the day. But
they bought it.
You need to work harder. You need to be like this girl. Now, please, nobody disturb me. I'm going to take a nap, right? I'm not saying that's Nick Khan to a T. I don't know the man, but I've had those bosses. I'll put it that way. So
for sure.
We also had Pollo Del Mar. To keep your job, you must be willing to give me your entire life and still be unceremoniously fired.
Yeah. Oh my God! Nail, head, boob. That's exactly it. Wow.
Yeah.
You usually think it's so complicated, but that's such a simplistic and accurate. Wow. Yes.
Laid it out. Putting you over, to me, Tom Phillips felt like the second coming of Michael Cole. That's how he was being groomed. Yeah. Yep. And then Rocky Bye, he just wanted to say, "Hola, Christy, my favorite WInc lady." So that's a nice.
Oh, that's so sweet. Hey, Rocky.
So then that brings us to our last news item here before we're going to get to Anthony if you're in audio form. And again, less than half an hour away from premiering that over on the YouTube channel, me and Anthony Agogo. But former WWE Divas champion Paige was banned from Twitch yesterday due to copyright infringement. According to her followers, Paige did a watch-along of Dumb and Dumber, and her stream was shut off in the middle of the Jim Carrey classic. She had previously streamed the 1986 movie Labyrinth, but didn't get banned. A user on Twitter noted that Paige was likely DMCA'd by a rights holder since Dumb and Dumber is not a movie eligible for Prime watch parties on Twitch. Typically, streamers on Twitch are allowed to host watch parties for several movies at the Amazon-owned platform, but Dumb and Dumber does not qualify. And as per Twitch guidelines, a suspension can last up to 30 days. Streamers with prior suspension records can be removed from the platform immediately, but since this is her first violation, I'm going to guess she's back on today. I'm going to guess that because she's a huge moneymaker for them, this suspension will be lifted very, very quickly. I don't know.
Yes, no, Twitch, YouTube, for sure. They all do that for their high profile hosts, users, whatever they are. I think you're absolutely right. Also, this is just Paige. This is just what she does. Screw it. I can get away with it probably. Let's see how it goes. She's such a renegade.
All right, well, that'll bring us to the end of the show, everybody. And I want to thank Christy for talking the news of the day. I want to thank Anthony Agogo for talking to me all about this weekend's Double or Nothing and just just talking in general. We talked like wrestling, but we also talked like a lot of American issues at the same time. So anyway, if you're watching,
something for everybody around here. We're a buffet.
Watching us live, 23 minutes. It'll premiere over on the YouTube channel. Jump in the chat room there. We'll keep the conversation going. Everybody here that's chatting and watching, go over there in like a few minutes. Okay. So today's poll question, what's your WWE versus New Japan dream match? I put up 4 just kind of ones that came to my head. Daniel Bryan Ibushi, God Usos, Roman Naito, and then some kind of other write-in. Well, I guess I got pretty close to what people actually want. 350 plus votes, 42% went to Daniel Bryan Ibushi, 24-9 to God Usos, 24-6 to Roman versus Naito, and then 8.4% wrote in somebody else. Any of these grab you? Is there a particular match you have in mind, Christy, or no?
Well, of course, Daniel Bryan, and I'm not surprised that that's the one that everybody else went for too. But again, I think that most fans aren't going to be excited by specific names or specific matches. We got a lot of, it's a little inside baseball, I think, for most WWE fans.
Yeah. There's a write-in here from putting you over for Jay White versus Balor. And I think that would maybe actually be the match that I'd like to see, like the former Bullet Club leader versus the current Bullet Club leader. I think there could be, and you could do the factions. You could use a way to integrate people into each other's products. I see something there for that for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's got more story than just we want to see this guy take on this guy that we thought we'd never see in a ring together.
Right. And then Scott Ficca here also saying Bryan versus anyone in New Japan would be a massive draw. Right. And that's the thing is, I put Daniel Bryan. He's not technically a WWE superstar right now. He's not under contract, right? But I think that if this New Japan thing happens, Daniel Bryan comes back, and that's where we see all of these things kind of merge. And it just, I don't know, it makes too much sense to me, Christy.
And it makes too much sense to me, Nick, that was a thing, and now it's over here dying in a corner, and I'm sorry, because I can tell you all really want it to happen. I hope I'm wrong.
Steve Kaufman, John Cena versus Toru Yano. A lot of people love Toru Yano. Nick Cleveland rocks all of the above. 6 rings 98.80. Okada versus Tamina. I just don't see it happening. But
yeah. But see, that one made me go, okay, I'll tune in.
EJ Cam 19, Roman versus Okada for 3 hours. Come on, EJ. Come on. Don't come on and say that.
What are you trying to do, EJ?
At Kevin and _ Winstead 1, The Rock versus Okada, Rollins versus Jay White, Undertaker versus Muta. I don't think the Undertaker one will happen. At Mr. Brody, Zack Sabre Jr. versus anybody. They also threw a Tanahashi versus Cena. Yeah, John Cena going over to Japan, just for like a couple matches is a goodwill ambassador from WWE, would create so much attention. I don't know that he could get away with it, though, with his schedule these days.
Well, schedule, and if he, he's gotten himself into a little political trouble recently with some comments that he made in Asia and needed to apologize, and people don't appreciate the apology. And I wonder if a John Cena just doesn't really need to mess with something like that.
Yeah, maybe John Cena. Yeah, I don't know that they want him, the guy who just placated to China, going to be the goodwill ambassador to Japan. That's a very
exactly.
I had not thought about that. That's right. What a weird week it's been for pro wrestling news. Like, hey, remember how John Cena got embroiled in the China-Taiwan controversy? At DJ Esquire, New York City, I could definitely see R-Truth versus Toru Yano match headlining Wrestle. Okay, come on now. It's not going to do that. But look, R-Truth versus Yano, it got several write-ins, and I agree it would be a banger match. It'd be great. So
you just don't think they would do it, or
not main event? They're not going to put it in the main event.
Oh, not in the main event. No, of course. But
no, it's not going to be the main event. But it'd be a good match.
It'd be an opener.
Yeah, Andy T. Monaghan, Ishii Walter, great. Another write-in for Walter here from Styles WWF. Walter Suzuki at Pilferk. Bullet Club versus a reformed Shield and replace Moxley with question. Moxley's back.
Messy.
Moxley is an interesting case here, right? Because he's the IWGP U.S. champion, and that's a New Japan title, but he also signed to AEW, and then WWE could come with this New Japan relationship. I don't know what happens at that. And then X. I don't know.
And then
solve for X. I was really bad with logic.
The thing we never thought happened, where all the promotions work together and put each other over, happens, and we all live happily ever after.
Lucha Professor also wants Walter Suzuki. I agree. Phil's dead. Suzuki versus The Miz. Man, wow. Yeah, you just want to watch Miz get the crap kicked out of him. I get it. At Russell Yaffe, ETC, Roman versus Okada is the answer. Yeah, I thought putting Roman Okada on the list. I was just like, Roman Naito just seems more fun to me. I just like Naito better than Okada. Anyway. At 89, the Brainchild, Jeff Cobb versus Big E. That would be great. Dark Horse 0412, Drew versus Okada. And Drew versus Okada I really like, because Okada has really done everything he can over New Japan. Would be coming over to kind of start a new run in the States, if it were. And Drew McIntyre being one of the first guys, helping to get him over. Maybe in the rematch, Drew gets a win over Okada. I think would just make Drew look so big and cool to be in a program with a guy like Okada.
Well, yeah, and of course, Drew has the whole international flair, and I think it would be appropriate for the feel of a New Japan WWE clash.
All right, we got a lot of these. I'm going to run through some. All right, AJ Okada.
I love to hear that people are excited about this.
Rocky Bias, Cena Tanahashi, Wabi Gama, Roman versus Moxley. Yes, this is a joke, but totally possible. Doesn't need to be a joke. Another one from Rip City B for R-Truth Yano, J-Pac, Roman versus Okada, Swift Fitness, Orton versus Okada. Yeah, let Randy Orton mix it up with the New Japan guys. Hell yes, great write-in. At tweet, Orton Ospreay, at R Israels, AJ Ospreay, at Fresno Bjork, Okada Lesnar. Yeah, we haven't seen a Lesnar write-in yet. That would be good. At Green Bull, Roman Okada, at Ryan WBB. Weird as this one may seem, Okada versus Cross. That just seems like it would be an incredible match. Yeah, Killer Cross, he has a lot. I know Cross has a lot of respect for that strong Japanese style. You could put him in there with anybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah. At Ramp HMBD, it'd be a dream match if it weren't scripted and predetermined. Come on, bro. Actually, and I'm like that. I didn't finish reading it. I shouldn't have read it.
What does that even mean?
He's just
confused.
He's just making trouble is what he's doing. So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been a great week for news. I will be back here's what's going to happen on Monday. So I'm traveling back from Jacksonville at like 8 a.m. I'm not going to be back to Chicago in time likely to do this show. So what I think we'll do is I'm going to do the scrums on Sunday night. We're going to get those up in video form on YouTube. And then Monday, I'm going to record like a audio opener and closer that are very short. And I'm just going to throw to all the media scrums. And so Monday you can come back on Memorial Day, fire up the grill, throw on all these scrums. You can listen to them. And then on Tuesday, I'll come back. I'll be with EJ Cameron, and we're going to have Brutus the Barber Beefcake on to tell the story of how a fart one time cost Brian Knobs $10,000.
Well, I can't wait to hear that one. Also, I will be excited to hear your experience in Jacksonville, Nick, too. So I'll be waiting for that on Tuesday as well.
Yeah, I guess that's good, too. Yeah. It's not as good as the fart story, though. Like,
well, I don't know the fart story yet because we haven't heard the interview. So I'm just going to have to take your word for it.
I loved this interview because Brutus, it's all just audio. He just got out of the pool. He's with his wife. We're talking. It's one of the better Brutus interviews that I've done, if not the best. Probably the best. I've done a couple. This one's very good. And like we're kind of rolling at the end there. And I'm asking him about some different things. And I was like, oh, the Randy Savage doc was just on. Did you ever see him kind of being protective of Elizabeth? And then you hear his wife in the background go, tell him the Hawaii story. And that prompts another story. So
see, the wives have all the good stuff.
Yeah, and his wife, she pokes him into telling that story, and then she actually prompts him to tell the fart story too. So
yes, Mrs. Beefcake, making sure we get all the hot tea.
So we got a lot to get to here, is what I'm saying, and we got a lot in the tank as well. So come on back next week if you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily. Support WrestlingInc.com. Support us over on all the social media channels, and of course Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Fridays, weekends like this Sunday night after Double or Nothing, we go live with the Wrestling Inc. podcast, and we pull that on its own RSS feed as well. So video form, audio form, subscribe to them both. All right, Christy, what do you want to plug, promote, put over here to wrap up the show today?
Oh, well, you guys can always hit me up at Christy Reports on Instagram, Twitter, and check out my YouTube channel, Christy Reports, as well. I'd appreciate a subscribe. And man, have a great, long, happy Memorial Day weekend. I'd like to big thank you to all of our military and veterans out there. And everyone be safe and have fun. I know I will.
Yes. And go support the work Jon Stewart is doing in Washington to help protect our veterans. On that note, it is worth a Google right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's way too complicated for me to get into. But that is your Memorial Day homework. Go support what Jon Stewart is continuing to do to support our veterans and first responders. So I am Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to talk to you next week. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it. Bye.